The plus and minus signs are mathematical symbols used to represent the notions of positive and negative as well as the operations of addition and subtraction. The use has been extended to many other meanings, more or less analogous. Plus and minus are Latin terms meaning more and less respectively. History. Though the signs now seem as familiar as the alphabet or the Hindu-Arabic numerals, they are not of great antiquity. The Egyptian hieroglyphic sign for addition, for example, resembled a pair of legs walking in the direction in which the text was written, with the reverse sign indicating subtraction. Nicole Orsma's manuscripts from the 14th century show what may be one of the earliest uses of the plus sign. Plus. In Europe in the early 15th century, the letters P and M were generally used. The symbols appeared for the first time in Luca Pacioli's Mathematics Compendium, Summa Arithmetica, Geometria, Proportione e Proportionalita, first printed and published in Venice in 1494. The plus is a simplification of the Latin a. The minus may be derived from a tilde written over m when used to indicate subtraction, or it may come from a shorthand version of the letter m itself. In his 1489 treatise, Johannes Widmann referred to the symbols minus and plus as minus and mehr was minus ist, das ist minus, and das plus ist das mehr. A book published by Henricus Grammatias in 1518 makes another early use of plus and minus for addition and subtraction. Robert Record, the designer of the equals sign, introduced plus and minus to Britain in 1557 in the Whetstone of Wit. The other two signs into often use of which the first is made thus plus and betokeneth more, the other is thus made and betokeneth less. Plus sign. The plus sign is a binary operator that indicates addition, as in 2 plus 3 equals 5. It can also serve as a unary operator that leaves its operand unchanged. This notation may be used when it is desired to emphasize the positiveness of a number, especially when contrasting with the negative. The plus sign can also indicate many other operations, depending on the mathematical system under consideration. Many algebraic structures have some operation which is called, or is equivalent to, addition. It is conventional to use the plus sign to only denote commutative operations. Moreover, the symbolism has been extended to very different operations. Plus can also mean exclusive or 1 plus 1 equals 0, 1 plus 0 equals 1. Logical disjunction, 1 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 0 equals 1. Minus sign. The minus sign has three main uses in mathematics: the subtraction operator, a binary operator to indicate the operation of subtraction, as in 5 minus 3 equals 2. Subtraction is the inverse of addition, directly in front of a number, and when it is not a subtraction operator it means a negative number. For instance, minus 5 is negative 5, a unary operator that acts as an instruction to replace the operand by its additive inverse. For example, if x is 3, then minus x is minus 3, but if x is minus 3, then minus x is 3. Similarly, minus is equal to 2. The above is a special case of this. All three uses can be referred to as minus in everyday speech. In most English-speaking countries, minus 5 is normally pronounced minus 5, but in modern US usage it is instead sometimes pronounced negative 5. Here, minus may be used by speakers born before 1950, and is still popular in some contexts, but negative is usually taught as the only correct reading. Further, Some textbooks in the United States encourage -x to be read as the opposite of x, or the additive inverse of x, to avoid giving the impression that -x is necessarily negative. In some contexts, different glyphs are used for these meanings. For instance, in the computer language APL and the expression language used by Texas Instruments, graphing calculators, a raised minus sign is used in negative numbers. But such usage is uncommon in mathematics and most programming languages. The rules for the order of operations mean that -52 is equal to -25. Powers bind more strongly than the unary minus, which binds more strongly than multiplication or division. However, in some programming languages and Microsoft Excel in particular, unary operators bind strongest. So in those cases -5 squared is 25, but 0 minus 5 squared is -25. Used in elementary education, some elementary teachers use raised plus and minus signs before numbers to show their positive and negative numbers. For example, subtracting -5 from 3 might be read as +3 take away -5, and be shown as 3 minus -5 becomes 3 plus 5 equals 8, or even as +3 minus -5 becomes +3 plus 5 equals +8. Used as a qualifier. In grading systems, the plus sign indicates a grade 1 level higher and the minus sign a grade lower. For example, B- is 1 grade lower than B. Sometimes this is extended to 2 plus or minus signs. For example, A++ is 2 grades higher than A. Positive and negative are sometimes abbreviated as +V and -VE. In mathematics, the one-sided limit x a plus means x approaches a from the right, and x a minus means x approaches a from the left. For example, when calculating what x minus 1 is when x approaches 0, because x minus 1 plus infinity when x 0 plus, but x minus 1 minus infinity when x 0 minus. Blood types are often qualified with a plus or minus to indicate the presence or absence of the Rh factor. For instance, a plus means A-type blood with the Rh factor present, while B- means B-type blood with the Rh factor absent. In music, augmented chords are symbolized with a plus sign, although this practice is not universal, as there are other methods for spelling those chords. For example, C+ is read C augmented chord, also used as superscript. Uses in computing, as well as the normal mathematical usage, plus and minus may be used for a number of other purposes in computing. Plus and minus signs are often used in tree view on a computer screen to show if a folder is collapsed or not. In some programming languages, concatenation of strings is written A plus B, which equals tab. In most programming languages, subtraction and negation are indicated with the ASCII -minus character. In APL, a raised minus sign is used to denote a negative number, as in 3, and in J a negative number is denoted by an underscore, as in _5. In C, in some other computer programming languages, 2 plus signs indicate the increment operator and 2 minus signs a decrement. For example, x++ means increment the value of x by 1, and x means decrement the value of x by 1. By extension, ++ is sometimes used in computing terminology to signify an improvement, as in the name of the language C++. There is no concept of -0 in mathematics, but in computing, -0 may have a separate representation from 0. In the IEEE floating point standard, 1-0 is negative infinity, whereas 1/0 is positive infinity. Other uses. In chemistry, the minus sign is used for a single covalent bond between two atoms, as in the skeletal formula. Subscripted plus and minus signs are used as diacritics in the International Phonetic Alphabet to indicate advanced or retracted articulations of speech sounds. The minus sign is also used as tone letter in the orthographies of Dan, Crumman, Carabra, Mwan, Wanchare, Wi, Nabawa and Godia. The Unicode character used for the tone letter is different from the mathematical minus sign. Character codes. The hyphen minus sign is the ASCII alternative version of the minus sign, and doubles as a hyphen. It is usually shorter in length than the plus sign and sometimes at a different height. It can be used as a substitute for the true minus sign when the character set is limited to ASCII. Most programming languages and other computer-readable languages do this, since ASCII is generally available as a subset of most character encodings, while U+2212 is a Unicode feature only. There is a commercial minus sign, which looks somewhat like an obbolus, at U+2052. Alternative plus sign. A Jewish tradition that dates from at least the 19th century is to write plus using a symbol like an inverted T. This practice was adopted into Israeli schools and is still commonplace today in elementary schools but in fewer secondary schools. It is also used occasionally in books by religious authors, but most books for adults use the international symbol plus. The usual explanation for this practice is that it avoids the writing of a symbol plus that looks like a Christian cross. Unicode has this symbol at position U plus FB29 Hebrew letter alternative plus sign.